I'm talking to Dwain Neil OBE here. It's Mike Johnson, and this is Life Radio UK. Dwayne, you education has been you've been steeped in it really from a child. This love of numbers and so on, and learning, and that has been instrumental, I believe, in the work that you came to do in the community. I'm going to go on to Reach Society now. Right now, you are the chairman. Tell us about this organization. How did that come about, and what is it doing?
Okay, thanks for the opportunity to talk about Reach Society because, yes, for me, it's one of the most important things I think I have done in the last 12 or more years. Um, I think the trigger point for the founding of Reach Society is the government Reach report. And folks who have been tracking initiatives designed to help the Black community will recall that in 2007, I think, the government published a report about the underachievement of Black boys in Britain. And they did a report which looked back at that underachievement going back maybe 30 years. And that report was written after a year of consultation with lots of Black professionals across the United Kingdom. The Reach report recommended 5 things. One of the most important things is that there should be a Reach national role model program to inspire boys and young men in our community to develop themselves. In good government fashion, they kicked off that program in 2008, but what should have run for 3 years ran for 18 months. And the premature ending of that program took place with the arrival of the coalition government. You know, the Nick Clegg,
Yes.
show.
Yep.
And that basically led to the termination of the Reach National Role Model Program after just 18 months. 2 of my friends, Rob Neal and Donald Palmer, were involved in it. And so we got together and I asked them one simple question. Now that the government has ended this program, what did you think of it? Was it making a difference? And they both said to me, yes, it was. So my next question to my 2 friends is, what are we going to do about it? Because if this program was set up to help to develop our young men, what are we, 3 fathers, 8 children, 4 boys, 4 girls, going to do about it? That's the origin of the thinking that led to the formation of Reach Society. And so after 6 months and lots of coffees in Starbucks, because we all live in the Northwest, we came up with Reach Society. We chose to make it a social enterprise. What does that mean in practice? It was an organization that was designed to help young people, and especially boys and young men in the Black community, to develop their potential. But it was a social enterprise that would not be grant funded, because I was quite insistent that 30 plus years I have been involved in a number of voluntary organizations in the UK, and they've all sort of waxed and waned. They would get a 5 grand or 10 grand or 20 grand from whatever source, local government, central government. They would spend it, and when the money is spent, they would end. They would fall apart. And I said to my friends, we must learn that lesson. This is the connection that I talked about earlier. We must learn that if this is important for us, we must give full consideration to how we're going to sustain it financially. And that was when my 2 friends started to panic, because they had no serious thoughts about how that could be achieved. And I said to them, gentlemen, I've been in business all my life. I work for Shell International Chemicals. I have ran 9 different businesses in that company. I know how to start up, develop, and grow businesses. This to me is a business project. Yes, it is entirely about helping our community, particularly our young people, but we have to look at the business component if it's going to last. So that is why I became the program director for the foundation, which is all about how we resource ourselves. Donald Palmer became the program director for networking, which is all about attracting young people. And we also have a young man, Tony Tio, who is the program director for the outreach activity. Rob is still involved with us, but he is much more on the social media side. And through our three programs, outreach, networking, and foundation, we have developed and grown Reach Society into a fully sustainable social enterprise. What does that mean in practice? We do not need money from anybody else. That was our starting objective. We have a very healthy reserve of several thousands of pounds, and we can resource any project we take on ourselves without using the begging bowl. Along the way, and we are now at the start of our 12th year, we have impacted more than 25,000 young people. And in a given year, if we take out the last 2 years because of COVID, we were up to impacting between 3,000 and 5,000 young people in a 12-month period. Our ambition is to get back to inspiring young people this year, provided the Omicron virus is no more damaging than people are saying it is.
Yeah. You mentioned there that you're self-sufficient, so you're not dependent upon donation. So as a social enterprise, you can do commercial activities
Absolutely.
to benefit the business. So what are
Absolutely.
some of the activities that you've done to generate income for yourself?
Mike, I'm delighted you asked that question because we have told lots of community groups the answer I'm about to give you. If you look on the website, reachsociety.com, on the home page, if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see half a dozen books. Those books have been written and published by Reach Society. Those books have generated almost £20,000 between 2013 and present day. That is one stream of income that we have. A second stream of income is our annual careers conference. We have rolled out 8, 9 of those now, and each of those have attracted a lot of support from the private sector. And private sector are always looking for opportunities to showcase their opportunities to talented young people. Those events are held centrally in the West End. And if you're going to use a prestigious location, it isn't going to be offered for free. And so by virtue of charging the exhibitors, we are able to not only cover the cost, but make a small contribution to our reserve. None of our annual careers conferences have ever made a loss. Each of them have contributed to our reserve. We also hire our services to schools, community groups, universities. And where those organizations have spoken with us, have wanted us to organize a bespoke event for them, we charge them. And we are not afraid of saying, we have this skill set, you have this need, let's talk about an appropriate fee. And once that agreement is reached, we then deliver on it. That is another line of income for us. And we always say thank you to our role models and the firms who have supported our annual careers conferences. Now, everyone who's been to a dinner dance, to use that wonderful phrase, will know that you don't go to a dinner dance for free.
Mm-mm.
So we organize a thank you session in the October, and every single one of those thank you dinner dances have made a contribution to our reserve. So those are just some of the obvious ways that we have organized the things that we do so that they not only add value to the community, but they also contribute to our reserve. Now, everything I've said is indicative of what any well-run business in the country, on the planet, does. Marks and Spencer does not give away its products. It sells its products at a price which allows it to cover the cost of the products, cover the staff, cover its rental cost, and make a contribution to its end year profit. That is the reserve it uses to fund the following year, the following decade, and so forth. So all I've done, as you can see, Mike, is to use my understanding of business to underpin how we operate in Reach Society. And so far, it has served us well.
Put a value, put a value on your asset or your gift, your talent, and use that to generate resource and income for your project. Yes, I see that, and also just the very fact that you started it because you felt the project itself was valuable, even though the government has stopped it. We can take possession of this because it is that important. I think we need to
Well,
value things more.
you're right, Mike, but we did not simply ape the Reach National Role Model program that the government rolled out. We actually developed the concept to something which the government wouldn't recognize today. The government's project was very simple. They selected 20 black male professionals and they tried to use them to influence not just young people, but also institutions in this country. I can tell you, because I monitored that project, that 18-month project closely, the government failed. The project did not influence any of the institutions in the country, and it barely impacted any young people. I think the figure I was told is that maybe 6,000 young people in the 18 months that they rolled it out was impacted. We've exceeded that number by a long, long way, and we
Yes.
will continue to impact young people. Um, no, I would say we have taken our program to a level whereby we are not short of volunteers from the Black community, men and women, who wish to be involved in our programs. We've taken our idea to evolve in employability days, which we roll out in urban areas outside of London and the Southeast. We've taken the idea to the point whereby we are not dependent on grants, but we generate our own funds, so we are fully sustainable. No, the taxpayer is not paying for what we are doing. We're funding it ourselves.
Yes.
But I think the most important part of what we're doing in Reach Society is we are showing our community that we can take full responsibility for any aspect of our affairs and do it well.
Yes. Um,
This isn't a begging bowl project. This is an
clearly,
independent project that is not under the control of anyone except ourselves.
clearly. Dwayne, I'm a parent. I've got a son, daughter. How do I connect with Reach Society? How do you how do people come to you or get to know about you?
Yeah. You ask a very important question, and we asked ourselves that question when we were thinking of Reach Society. And the first response is we knew we needed a shop window. And that is why in our very first year, we developed the website. So if anyone wants to make contact with Reach Society, you simply visit the website, www.reachsociety.com. Through that shop window, you will be able to see all the things we've done, because we're not afraid of putting on our website everything we're involved in. And there's an easy way of contacting Reach Society, info@reachsociety.com. That gets through to us. And one of our standing principles is we never ignore an email that's sent to us. If we can't help, we contact you to say, thank you for making contact with us, but it's out of scope for us. And I say that because when people hear about the wide range of things we're doing to develop and inspire young people, they actually believe that we can cure cancer and feed the world and make
Mm,
everybody rich. So we've had lots of inquiries for things that are way out of scope of what we're doing. And we're honest enough to say to them, This we cannot help with because we're not resourced to do,
Yes, of course.
unlike some organizations who would just ignore the inquiry.
Mm.
Yeah,
You might,
because it's all about standards, Mike.
yes, yes, and
And
expectations. Mm.
my colleagues and I will only fight about one thing if they decide to break ranks. We are an organization led by professionals. And I say to my colleagues, we must behave professionally. And unfortunately, four people over our 11 plus years have been asked to walk away from the organization because their definition of professionalism was not ours.
And the longevity of the organization comes first.
Well,
Um,
the longevity is directly related to our credibility.
yes.
And I learned that in Shell because we had a general manager, sorry, a chief executive, who basically said to us, we need to consistently perform as advertised. John Collins was his name. And if we consistently perform as advertised, we will do well.
Mm.
And I believe that applies equally well to Reach Society. If
Yes.
we perform as advertised, we will do well.
You touched on one of those income streams earlier on, the books. Are those books that were commissioned by yourselves? Or if I have an idea of a book, can I approach you to say, look, what do you think of this project? Could you take it on or publish it under your
Yeah,
auspices?
we publish books of our choosing around inspirational topics that we decide on. But we do know organizations who help people who have their own ideas, but they don't know how to get them published. Um, CAD Publishing, KAD Publishing, is one such organization. We know the guy behind it. He's a retired head teacher, Keith Davidson, and he has been helping now dozens of would-be publishers, self-published books.
Yes, I know
We
Keith
have
well,
an
yes. Mm,
article on our website
mm,
which promotes his work.
yes.
So you were
Okay.
saying, do you know Keith?
Yes, Keith Davidson, yes. From,
Yeah,
he lives in London, goes to the Seventh Adventist, goes to the Holloway Church.
absolutely.
Yeah. Mm,
Really good friend of mine.
mm,
We've known
mm.
each other now for decades.
Yes.